So let's talk about managing your career. No matter what field of nursing you want to enter, jobs are likely to be available. However, career-minded people don't want to take just any position that's offered them. They usually are very careful to figure out what best meets their needs in terms of their career goals. From your text, you know that there are different career styles that are available. You may enter the profession thinking that you're going to be in a steady state of job opportunities. That may not happen right off the bat because the opportunities that are presented to you, or because of how you evolve in your thinking about nursing and how you want to achieve your career. Many times you think this is exactly where I want to go, and however, sometimes we have to take a different path. Those job opportunities are not open in that certain unit or in that area that you want to go into, and so sometimes we have to take another position until we can get to where it is we really want to go to. The key is to determine the person and the position fit. And sometimes we think we might know where we want to go, and then later on you might find that, you know what, I'm really glad I didn't get that official job that I wanted because I like what I'm doing now, and this is really a better fit. And so sometimes it works out that way. Other times it may not. Whether you're looking at your first position in nursing or wherever it may be, or this may be your, another position that you're looking into later on down the road, you need to think about the position and how you would fit within it. A lot of organizations expect most of the adaptation to be done by the employee. So usually you have to ask yourself a series of questions about how a particular position contributes to your overall goals, how the position is structured in meeting your personal needs, what benefits offset any downsides, and so forth. Some organizations believe they can adapt their positions to fit the person they want to execute the work. Those organizations may support job share programs. They may even be able to adapt the hours of work, or they may be able to reassign some portion of the position to another position, or even reassign some aspect of another position to one you are considering. To get this more clear about what the position does for you and what you can do for it, lots of times you have to consider the position and your fit within it. Remember that no one will offer to change anything unless you articulate why it is important for you that you need them to change something to better fit you. Some key things about looking for careers and starting your career is to know yourself and also know the position that you want, and looking at those vision, mission, and the values of an organization that you're looking into. Some of the key things that you'll be working on to be able to market yourself is creating a curriculum vitae. You really won't be using those until later on. That's for your more experienced nurses, but starting out as first-time nurses, you're going to want to have a resume. Also, too, we'll talk about the professional letter. That's your cover letter, your thank you letters. And even if you had to make out a resignation letter, if you're leaving a position to go into nursing, those always need to be written professionally and like a business letter. So please make sure that you go on to the sites or go back through. Remember when you had to learn how to write business letters back in school, that's what you'll be doing. I'm not going to read all this to you, but here's a definition of what the curriculum vitae is, and I have an example posted up for y'all. Here's definitely some points that you want to think about, whether it's your vita or your resume. Making sure that it's current, that you have a professional email, not crabby nurse or hot mama at Gmail or little princess at AOL.com. You want to make sure that you do have a professional email address. Your font should always be 12, and it should be Times Roman or your Arial. And you probably when you create that email address, you may want to email just strictly for job searches. Always keep the information up to date. You don't want to go back several years and try to remember all the things you did. So usually periodically it's good to go in and update your resume and keep all the information, especially if you're doing a CV, because it's more detailed information. Here's a quick definition of your resume, what it should contain. Again, like I said, when there's inexperience in the nursing field, it's usually best to use a resume. And of course, if your prospective employer wants you to use a CV and says, do not put in a resume, we're looking for a CV, of course you would definitely do that. But when in doubt, always use the resume and make sure that you address and build it around that position. With that said, you may have several different resumes depending on the different positions that you are applying for. Make sure you do practice your letter writing, of course typing it, but it shows a lot when someone sends a professional letter and there is proper grammar, there are no typos, and no spelling errors. And again, you let several people read it so they can look for corrections. And sometimes you may have left out some important information that someone else can pick up and say, hey, remember, don't forget to put this in or this. And you're going, oh, yeah. So sometimes we forget. But make sure there are no typos, there's no spelling or grammar errors in there. Employers look for any way to get rid of these letters and resumes, so to make their stack smaller. So don't give them that reason. Cover letters serve several purposes. The point of the cover letter is to reconfirm the position that you're applying for and the date and the time of an interview, if that's known. Use it as a marketing device to achieve a purpose. So this could be to show your interest, maybe fill in some spots that you couldn't fill in on your resume. Usually get better results. It's best to email it, but don't forget to do your spell check if you email a cover letter to someone. Some main things that you want to think about when you go in for your interview is to be prepared. Go in with questions, and that means that you did learn something about the organization and the position ahead of time. Be sure you know their terms so you can see clarity about any kind of values and beliefs while using their words and their terms that they used. You can assume that people will want to know what kind of person you are and what kind of work you seek. You want to know they want to know what you see as your strengths and what others would say about you. They want to know about experiences that you've had that are like the experiences needed for that position. They also want to know what you know if you're a team player and how you would resist peer pressure in doing what is right for patients. Assume that they want to know about any errors that you've made and what you learned from them. Consider your words carefully as you do anytime you would provide answers to something. You also want to use both verbal and nonverbal communication to receive the messages that the interviewer is sending. Assume that the interviewer is on his or her best behavior, so be sure to feel how the interview is going. If, for example, you feel rushed, you may feel this way once you are an employee and you may be seeking help. So you want to make sure that you take the time. Don't rush through it. It's not trying to get it done and over and out of there. Take your time. Think about what you want to say, the words that you want to use, and how you want to express yourself. And lots of times you can even control how that interview is going. Remember, there's never any guarantees. So go ahead and look at some of these bullets. Later on, after you get your license and you are in the workforce, you will always want to continue your education. Especially with nursing, education just doesn't stop once you get your degree and you pass your boards. You continue your professional development and continuing education. There's different certifications out there for you to get, and some of them, some nurses like to join certain associations and be involved with that. Many of you know that you will need to continue on with your education to achieve your BSN. So that will be coming down the line. One of the things some new nurses do is they feel like they need to join every association so they're involved, they're in the know, it looks good on their records and things like that. But don't join everything out there, but do join what interests you and how it can help you in your area or in your field. So you want to think, how can this association benefit me? And think about how involved you want to be. Being a new nurse, you have a lot on your plate, so you don't want to just jump in there and try to join everything. But again, these associations are great ways to network with other nurses. Look for future job opportunities, education opportunities. So they are a great way to network, but you just don't want to get into too many of them too soon. And then later on, you will be looking at some of these. Some of you will go to a BSN program, while others may decide to enter maybe a bridge program and go straight towards an MSN degree. Take time to research what works best for you. There are a lot of options out there, so you'll need to do some research. And sometimes your employers have a program or education incentives that are out there. And so, again, here's a list of some ideas and where some of that future endeavors can come from and can assist you.